Construction of Wellbeing and Identity, Assignment 1, Kiara and Nicole.
Good afternoon. Today, Nicole and I would like to share with you the well-being issue of anxiety and its impact in low socio-economical school areas. Mental health as a whole is an ongoing issue within many individuals, with approximately 1 in 7 or 13.9% of children aged between 4 and 17 years were assessed and tested positive for mental health issues. However, anxiety is one of the biggest faced issues by individuals, with approximately 293,000 of those affected, or 6.9%. Over the years, anxiety within children has only heightened due to the ongoing stresses that children are faced with in their day-to-day life. Mental health for students with disadvantaged communities means that they are affected more, much like students living more remote with less access to resources and help. According to the economic disadvantages across society, those who live and are in disadvantaged communities suffer more from these mental health issues. Anxiety within these communities was shown to be a statistical 2.5 times higher, as they have lower educational success, contributing to their stresses and means for heightened anxiety. Students who are placed in these disadvantaged communities pose greater risk to their mental well-being and are at a greater exposure in terms of the environmental circumstances, social and economical circumstances as well. Within the classroom, as an educator, being inclusive to cater for all student diversity by getting to know the students and how to help them cope in the classroom to enhance their learning and to cope through any struggles that they may face to ensure that their mental well-being is catered for. Good mental health in students and their well-being is imperative to help them through their education and to work through any issues that may be making them feel anxious, to work out a different approach for the task. As an educator, it is crucial that action is taken from the beginning of knowing these things about the student so that they can get to help the student and support them through all of their needs.
For this activity, you'll need a piece of paper, a pen, some scissors, and the jar that's provided for you. You can use any type of ribbon or elastic or any stickers to put on the side of your jar and make it your own. You will then need to cut your pieces of paper into thin strips, as you can see. This is the most important step, which can be repeated every day, but for now I want you to think of at least 3 things that you are grateful for. It could be something as benign as coffee at your favourite place, or someone you love, or a significant other, a dear friend. And you want to do this every day. Write down what you're grateful for and put it into your jar. Over time, you'll find that you have a jar full of reasons to be thankful for what you have and enjoy life that you are living. It's also a simple way of expressing your thanks to what you have in your life. So this is an easy activity that you can do within your classroom to get them to think about the basic things that they should be grateful for in their everyday lives. So the resource we have decided to look at is the anti-anxiety cards made in partnership with Headspace. So these are double-sided cards to use with children at any age that are struggling with anxiety while at school. These cards were developed by young students that suffer from anxiety while at school. Therefore, the strategies on the cards are those that have been tried by and been successful for students. So the green anti-anxiety card states 5 thoughts that can help reduce stress, as well as a breathing technique that is used around the border. On the back of the card, there is a blank space where students can write positive messages to themselves, which will help them remember what they are good at and how they can help themselves. The teal breathing card states, find a comfortable space to sit and. This card allows students to find a safe space and use their breathing technique to calm themselves before writing down what triggered their anxiety on the back of the card. The orange gratitude card allows students to focus on the important things in their lives and the things that they are most grateful for. Students can read the front of the card and then write down things that they are grateful for on the back. This allows students to refocus on what is important in their lives and how a small problem could be. So this allows students to look back on the activity that we did a bit earlier, where students have to remember that there are things in their lives that they can go back to and remember that they've got if they are feeling stressed or down. The green self-care card states a range of things that a student can do to calm themselves and have a moment to themselves. So on the back of the card, students write down some things that they would like to do at school when they need to refocus and concentrate. The pink thinking card asks the students questions about what has impacted their thinking, reactions, and goals. So on the back, students can write a list of things that they could say to themselves when they are feeling down or stressed. So this card is important for students that often find themselves overreacting to situations and not being able to refocus on schoolwork. Lastly, the blue grounding card allows students to find 5 things they can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This allows students to refocus and concentrate on their own sensations rather than the things that are overwhelming them on the outer. On the back, the students are able to write some things that they think will help them feel grounded when stressed or down. So the purpose of the anti-anxiety cards is to place them into a book or onto a binder ring so that students are able to easily access them when they are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or down while at school. Students are able to show their teacher or support staff one of the cards, and this indicates that they need a break and they'll be using a card to calm themselves. Teachers can also get students to write down the date, what caused the anxiety, and what card they used to refocus themselves. So overall, the cards will allow students to gain control over their own anxiety and self-regulate their own emotions.
Within the classroom, these resources can be used by educators to help students cope with and understand their feelings in a non-confronting manner. These cards invite students to share their feelings and take a moment out of each day to get themselves in a positive headspace to better their mental well-being. As these resources are easy to access and reusable for day-to-day basis, it is easy for educators to promote these in the classroom. These do not need to be specific for the student trying to cope with anxiety, but an exercise that can be completed by the entire class so that each and every student is looking after their mental well-being.
The anti-anxiety break cards promote children's engagement exploring the issue of anxiety, as the topic is not very well known to most students, as not everyone deals with anxiety on a day-to-day basis. It gets them thinking directly about the issue as it is prompted for them, and they have the opportunity to express themselves through these cards. Students can keep a copy every day and see how their moods and their feelings progress throughout the week, and how we can work through them to promote better well-being for the individual student. The resources also promote students to know that expressing their innermost thoughts and feelings is a good thing to discuss because it is okay to inform people how you feel. The engagement aspect is that all students can be involved and it can be personal for each of the students who use these cards, as they will be looking at a different card every day instead of completing the same card daily, getting students curious and thinking about all the different aspects of what the cards have to offer for them.
There are a few supportive resources that further promote positive approaches within anxiety. Friends for Life is a supportive resource that helps students engage and structure to talk and discuss through their thoughts and feelings. This resource can be utilised by students as they can engage with the program for a short 5 sessions for a total of approximately 2 hours per session. A program that helps students cope with their emotions and thoughts to promote self-regulation strategies. It encourages students to take life positively with a positive outlook on each day to facilitate these emotions and thoughts through adolescence.
The Disney movie Inside Out allows students to see the physical emotions that live inside students and how each one of them work together to help you create and make daily decisions, the way that emotions control how you feel. The underlying message that the film shows students is that it's okay to be and feel sad when things aren't looking up, but we need to figure out how we're going to cope with the situation before we do something that we don't want to do.
Another resource that is engaging for students and more so the younger years is a children's book entitled How Big Are Your Worries, Little Bear? This little bear worries about everything in the world, but with the help of his mama bear, he learns and understands that his little worries are not so big after all. With children growing up, it is inevitable that they worry, simply a normal aspect of growing up with not knowing what is going to happen. When anxiety becomes overwhelming for kids, it's hard for them to manage, control, and regulate their emotions. This picture book illustrates to children how to manage and overcome the worries of anxiety, of stressful thoughts, and fearful situations. This book invites children to talk and discuss their emotions with others and to recognize that it is okay to do so.
Interoception is an activity that can be completed every day within the whole class. So many teachers use interoception activities after break times to calm students before re-entering the classroom. So an activity that can be completed is a wall push. This activity focuses on big muscle groups and it allows students to label the movement and the part of body that is involved. So for this, you want to get students to place both hands onto a solid wall and you want them to push back and forth slowly and feel what their body is doing within that time. So they would repeat this activity multiple times and then be able to identify change in their body, for example, feeling relaxed and stretched. So this activity will change each day and focus on one of the following, which is muscles, breathing, temperature, pulse, and touch. So these activities will help students feel connected and understand their bodies and feelings, as well as what emotions they are feeling after a break time or something that's happened in the yard. So these activities allow the students to refocus on what they need to be focusing on, no matter what has happened before the activity started.
In the Australian curriculum, students develop personal and social capabilities as they learn to understand themselves and others, to manage their relationship, lives, work, and to learn more effectively. The personal and social capability involves students in a range of practices, including recognizing and regulating emotions, developing empathy for others and understanding relationships, establishing and building positive relationships, making responsible decisions, working effectively in teams, handling challenging situations constructively, and developing leadership skills.
As well as looking at the curriculum, we looked at some of the policies around wellbeing in the school. So one of the ones we found was the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians. They have a focus on students having a sense of self-worth, self-awareness, and the personal identity that enables them to manage their emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. So this wants teachers to make sure that students have the tools to be able to focus on their well-being and be able to cope with it themselves, as well as getting the support they do from the school. The second one is from the Australian Students' Wellbeing Framework, and their major focus was on student voice. So students should be active participants in their own learning and well-being. They should feel connected and use their social and emotional skills to be respectful, resilient, and safe. So this framework wants students to be able to have a say in what they learn, a say in how they feel, and a say in how the classroom focuses on wellbeing. And lastly, we looked at the wellbeing framework for schools, which has students being self-aware and being able to regulate their own emotions and behaviours. So students should have the social and emotional skills to develop and maintain positive relationships and engage in pro-social behaviour. And these are some of the things that teachers should be encouraging within the classroom as well.